Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we have a very special lesson for everyone. It's a new level for us.
Right, it's an advanced media lesson, and we are going to be listening to an apology. Well, it's an apology letter, but we're going to actually have someone talk it out.
Right, so what's happening here is someone is reading a letter they've written, and they're trying to apologize for something, and we don't really know what this something is, but I want everyone to really listen here to the words that are being used and to the ways in which we can say sorry, because as they say, there are 1,000 ways to say I'm sorry.
Dear Mary, I come here today in this way because I need to apologize to you. I failed you. Although I did not lie to you in words, I lied to you with faces that did not belong to me. I never meant to ruin the friendship that meant the world to me. You mean the world to me, and now I come to you asking for forgiveness. If in your heart you find you can't, then I will understand and learn from this experience. You came into my life at a time when I needed you the most. We talked about so many things that I started to realize my heart and my soul could actually feel something other than hurt. You placed comfort where there was fear, confidence when there was doubt, a shoulder where tears could fall, and completeness where there was emptiness. I wanted to hold on to this so badly that I did whatever it took for you to notice. What I didn't realize was that I could lose my entire being, all of who I was and all of that I had placed in you. I wanted to be the one who would be there when you needed to talk. I wanted to be the comfort for your soul when the world was too much to handle. I wanted to be strong for you when everything else seemed impossible. I wanted to love you in only the way you deserved to be loved, never realizing that I was destroying myself and you. Somehow I needed you to be a part of my life. The only problem was that I was willing to jeopardize everything to get that done. All the things that I told you about how I felt and how you make me feel were true. Nothing else mattered to me except hearing the laughter in your voice when you were happy. You made my days easy to get through and my nights peaceful. You helped me look forward to another day. Even though distance separated us, just being was enough. I'm sorry for hurting you, and if I had to do it all over again, I would have been 100% with you. Forgive me, please.
All right, we're back. So the guy seemed to be pretty sad.
Yeah, this is a very intense, it's not a dialogue, it's a monologue. One person is reading it, so it's a very intense monologue.
Very romantic.
Yeah, romantic, but also an air of melancholy.
Yeah, that's true. He's kind of like apologizing and at the same time expressing love and all these feelings. So it was very interesting, but why don't we take a look at a couple of phrases. Now, in advanced media, we're not going to analyze the entire dialogue or, as we do in the other levels, actually pick out items for language takeaway or fluency builder. So in advanced media, we're only going to pick out a couple of words and phrases and just talk about it and talk about the topic in general.
Exactly. And so one of the first phrases that we decided to talk about here is this phrase, I failed you, because this is really the theme of the letter.
Right. So if you fail someone, it means that you let that person down.
Okay, so you fail someone. I failed you, or you can say, he failed me.
So when I really needed that person the most, that person didn't come through or let me down or failed me.
All right, so let's give an example maybe. I needed my brother to pick me up because I don't have a car. And my brother was supposed to pick me up at 4 o'clock and he forgot. He didn't come. So he really failed me.
All right, he failed you.
Yeah, I was disappointed.
Well, that's not as serious as what happened here in this letter, I think, right?
I think so, but we can talk about what did happen. I think I have a theory, and I know you have a theory, so we can talk about that in a minute. But before that, we have some other phrases about forgiveness and disappointment.
Right, well, he also said, you mean the world to me, and now I come to you asking for forgiveness.
Okay, so we've got a positive and a negative. So the positive here is, you mean the world to me. You mean the world to me. Mm-hmm. This means you are so important to me. You're one of the most important people in my life. You're worth the entire world, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a very poetic way of saying you're very important.
Yeah.
And then he says, and now I come asking for your forgiveness.
Okay, so this implies that he did something wrong. I come asking for forgiveness. So in English, we ask for forgiveness. You can also beg for forgiveness.
Right.
So please forgive me. But this
You can't demand forgiveness, though.
I demand you forgive. No, that doesn't quite work.
All right. What else do we have?
We've got the world again here. He says, the guy who's reading, he says, I wanted to be the comfort for your soul. So this is very, again, poetic. When the world was too much to handle.
Wow.
Too much to handle is a really important English phrase.
Right.
And I'm sure you've heard it before, but we could talk about it a little bit here.
Right. So he says when everything else was too much to handle. So everything was so difficult or it was overwhelming.
Right. So you could say even in the office, man, all this work I have to do, it's too much to handle.
Right. Okay.
So too much to handle. You could also say a child is too much to handle. I think they said this about my brother. He was very difficult growing up.
Too hard. He's too difficult to handle.
All right.
Well, what about in the part where he says, you placed comfort where there was fear, confidence where there was doubt. So this structure is interesting because you placed something where there used to be something else.
So you're replacing something, you're changing something for something else. It's an exchange. So you could say you placed comfort where there was fear, you placed
Happiness where there was sadness.
where there was sadness.
So it's always like kind of opposites, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Instead
Light
of,
where there was dark.
Right, exactly. So that's an interesting format of saying something. You did something where there used to be something else. All right. And what about this word to jeopardize?
All right, this is a good one. I always think of the TV game show Jeopardy, but that's a noun. This here is a verb, to jeopardize, and that means to put something in danger or to risk losing something.
Okay, so to jeopardize your health if you're doing something dangerous.
So smoking jeopardizes one's health.
You're putting your health at risk.
Or I don't want to jeopardize my savings by investing everything I have in stocks. That means I would prefer to do something safer.
So you don't like to jeopardize your well-being.
I like to play it safe, as we say.
All right, very good. And last but not least, this almost the last phrase when he says, even though distance separated us, just being was enough. What does he mean when he says just being was enough?
All right, this is very romantic, intensely romantic. He says, even though we were far apart, just being, so just existing, just breathing was enough. So just knowing that she's in the world was enough for him to feel happy.
So that's what he means with just being was enough.
Right, so being is existing. It's being alive.
Okay, very good. I think we should listen to this apology letter one more time and we'll be back.
Dear Mary, I come here today in this way because I need to apologize to you. I failed you. Although I did not lie to you in words, I lied to you with faces that did not belong to me. I never meant to ruin the friendship that meant the world to me. You mean the world to me, and now I come to you asking for forgiveness. If in your heart you find you can't, then I will understand and learn from this experience. You came into my life at a time when I needed you the most. We talked about so many things that I started to realize my heart and my soul could actually feel something other than hurt. You placed comfort where there was fear, confidence when there was doubt, a shoulder where tears could fall and completeness where there was emptiness. I wanted to hold on to this so badly that I did whatever it took for you to notice. What I didn't realize was that I could lose my entire being, all of who I was and all of that I had placed in you. I wanted to be the one who would be there when you needed to talk. I wanted to be the comfort for your soul when the world was too much to handle. I wanted to be strong for you when everything else seemed impossible. I wanted to love you in only the way you deserve to be loved, never realizing that I was destroying myself and you. Somehow I needed you to be a part of my life. The only problem was that I was willing to jeopardize everything to get that done. All the things that I told you about how I felt and how you make me feel were true. Nothing else mattered to me except hearing the laughter in your voice when you were happy. You made my days easy to get through and my nights peaceful. You helped me look forward to another day. Even though distance separated us, just being was enough. I'm sorry for hurting you, And if I had to do it all over again, I would have been 100% with you. Forgive me, please.
All right, so what do you think he did that he's apologizing in this way? Because I don't think they were a couple, right? Because he mentions friendship a couple of times.
Yes, with a but. You don't write a letter like this to someone who you want to stay friends with. You write a letter to someone who you have some kind of romantic or intense feeling for, right? So to me, this seems like a letter that was written to someone who was a great friend, and he's afraid of losing that because he cares even more for her.
Right. But yeah, I guess, but do you think he's confessing his love in a certain way here?
I think in some ways he's confessing a love. You can love your friends, that's okay. But more than that, he's apologizing for something that he thinks has completely destroyed their friendship. And that is where I'm very confused because I have no idea what he did.
Well, maybe he did something that let her down. Maybe he became jealous of her new boyfriend or something like that.
Yeah, or maybe it's something catty, like he was supposed to do something with her and ended up doing something with other people and left her out or embarrassed her in front of people. It's hard to say.
Have you ever written an apology letter?
Yeah, I have. I've written a few apology letters. I have a very strong sense of guilt. I was raised Catholic. It happens.
So an apology letter, do you usually plan out what you want to say, or you just splurge your feelings onto the paper?
Well, you know me. My personality is very planned and organized, and so normally I have points. So I say, if this is the problem, there's 3 parts. I have an answer for each part, and the very end I have the heartfelt apology.
Oh, wow.
It's like an essay.
I guess it's a little bit more organized. If I were to write something like this, I would just start writing and whatever comes out. So it would probably make less sense than your letter.
Well, I just try to stay on focus, stay on point, and address the matter at hand, because otherwise then you get into other stuff and you can make people more angry.
Right. But it is really important to write an apology letter. Now, some of the words and phrases and the vocabulary used here can be used in circumstances that are not only romantic, right? You can be
Absolutely.
used in a professional way as well, right?
That's true. In a professional sense, you want to be careful not to get too personal. So
Right.
in a professional sense, it's good to say that, you're sorry for any mix-ups or for misunderstandings, but in the future you will try to make things better,
Right.
Or improve. But in friendships and in families and in romantic relationships, apology letters are very, very important because I'm a big believer in mending bridges. I know a lot of people who we say in English, to burn a bridge, that means to destroy a relationship and never go back. But I like to mend bridges to make sure that people who I was friends with don't, if we have a fight, don't just hate me forever.
Right.
That even if there's a disagreement, that they understand my perspective or that I understand theirs.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's important. What about apology emails? Do you agree with those?
I think that they are a necessity of the 21st century. I mean, I live far away from most of my friends and family, and so it's
Right.
important for me to be able to communicate in any way. But, and sometimes, I'm very shy with some people, so sometimes it's hard for me to talk on the phone because I get stuck and then I can't think of what I wanted to say. And so if a letter helps in that way to get you past your fear or your anxiety, then by all means, an email is just as much.
I actually
a good way.
received a handwritten letter through an email.
How did that happen?
So the person...
They scanned it.
They scanned the letter.
Oh, wow.
So it was still it still had a very intimate and personal sense. But obviously, since the mail takes so long and everything, they just scanned it and then they sent it to my email.
Well, that's nice.
So I think that's a good idea. Maybe
is.
you could try that one.
I'll try that one. I don't
right.
agree with the one-line email. I'm sorry, forgive me.
Yeah, that's not good.
As my parents always used to say when I was growing up and I'd get in fights with my little brother, the only apologies that we accept are the ones that are from the heart.
Right.
So I used to have to apologize again and again and again until
You actually
I
meant
actually
it.
meant it. And
Right.
so I think that this is a very true kind of idea that well, maybe not in business and work where you have to be cordial,
Right.
but with friends and real relationships with people
Right.
who you care about, obviously real apologies are very important.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. And how are you?
I'm doing well too. I'm happy to talk today. Our topic is something simple, but very important.
Yes, we are talking about apology letters. Saying I'm sorry is something we all need to do sometimes.
That's true. And writing an apology letter is a good way to say sorry when talking is hard, or when the other person is far away.
Right. Some people think writing a letter is old, but it's still very useful. It helps us say what we really feel.
Exactly. When you write, you can take your time. You can think about your words. You can show you care.
Also, a letter shows respect. It says, "You are important to me, and I want to make things right."
Yes. Apology letters are used in many places, at school, at work, and even with friends or family.
Let's talk more about why people write apology letters. What are some reasons?
Well, maybe you said something that hurt someone. Or maybe you were late for something important.
Yes, or maybe you forgot to do something you promised. We all make mistakes. The important thing is to say sorry and try to fix it.
And when we write an apology letter, it shows we understand our mistake. It shows we want to be better.
That's right. A good apology letter has some simple parts. First, you say sorry. Then, you say why you are sorry.
Yes. And then you can explain what happened, but not too much. Don't try to make excuses.
Exactly. You can say, "I was wrong," or "I didn't mean to hurt you." That is more powerful than just saying, "sorry."
And don't forget to say you want to make things better. That's very important.
I agree. A good apology letter is not just about saying sorry. It is about being honest and showing you care.
Also, it's nice to end the letter with kind words like, "I hope we can still be friends," or "Thank you for reading my message."
Yes, a soft and friendly ending makes the letter feel warm and real.
Do you think it's better to write by hand or send an email?
It depends. A handwritten letter feels more personal. But email is faster and still good, especially if the person is far away.
Yes, both are okay. What matters most is your words and your heart.
True. The message should come from your heart. People can feel when your words are real.
Some people feel shy or nervous about writing an apology. They don't know what to say.
That happens a lot. But it's okay. Even a short letter can mean a lot. Just be simple and honest.
Yes, and don't wait too long. Saying sorry soon is better. Waiting can make things worse.
Very true. Time is important. The faster you say sorry, the better people feel.
Do you remember a time when you wrote an apology letter?
Yes, I do. I once forgot a friend's birthday. I felt very bad, so I wrote a letter and said how sorry I was. I also sent a small gift.
That was kind of you. And did your friend forgive you?
Yes, they did. They said my letter made them feel good. They knew I really cared.
That's the power of words. An apology letter can heal hurt feelings.
Yes. And it can bring people closer again. Saying sorry is not a weakness. It shows you are strong.
I agree. A person who can say sorry is a person who wants peace, not problems.
Also, apology letters help us learn. When we write, we think more. We understand what we did, and we learn not to do it again.
That's a great point. Writing helps us grow. Not just in English, but as people too.
I think that's what makes apology letters special. They help both people, the one who writes and the one who reads.
Yes, both sides can feel better. The writer lets out the bad feeling, and the reader sees that someone cares.
Sometimes, people don't answer the letter. That can feel sad. But even then, writing it is still a good thing.
Yes, because the letter is not only for the other person, it's also for you. It helps you say what you feel.
That's true. And maybe the person needs time. Some people don't forgive quickly. But they may read the letter later and understand.
Exactly. And if they do forgive you, your letter helped that happen. If they don't, at least you tried. That shows respect.
Let's talk a little about the kind of words we should use in an apology letter. What do you think?
I think we should use soft and polite words. Like, "I'm truly sorry," or "Please forgive me." It's better than saying just sorry.
Yes. Words like "I understand" or "I didn't mean to hurt you" are helpful too. They show you are thinking about the other person's feelings.
It's also good to use short and clear sentences. Long, difficult words can make it sound fake or too formal.
I agree. Basic words are best. When you speak from the heart, you don't need big words.
Sometimes people want to explain too much, but we have to be careful. If we talk too much about why we made the mistake, it can sound like we are making excuses.
Yes. A short reason is okay, but the focus should stay on saying sorry and making peace.
Do you think it's okay to say, I hope we can talk soon at the end?
Yes, I think that's a kind way to end the letter. It shows you want to fix things, but don't push too hard. Let the other person decide.
That's a good idea. Everyone needs space sometimes. When someone is hurt, they may need time before they want to talk.
Yes. Giving time shows care. It says, I want to talk, but only when you are ready.
I think writing an apology letter also helps with learning English. Don't you think?
Definitely. It helps with writing, grammar, and feelings. It makes us practice real-life English.
And because you are writing about real things, your English becomes more natural. It's not just about rules, it's about using the language to say something that matters.
Also, you learn to be more careful with words. You try to be clear, honest, and respectful. That's good practice.
Do you think apology letters are more useful than saying sorry in person?
Sometimes, yes. In person, we might forget things, or feel nervous. A letter gives us time to say everything we want.
And sometimes the other person is not ready to talk. A letter lets them read when they feel ready.
Right. And a letter can be kept. The person can read it again later. That can help them see your heart.
It's also true that writing can help us calm down. When we are upset, writing can make us feel better.
Yes, it's like talking to yourself and to the other person at the same time. It helps to understand your own feelings.
Another thing people worry about is, what if I say the wrong thing in the letter?
That's a good question. But if you're honest and kind, most people will see your true meaning, even if your English is not perfect.
Yes. People feel your heart more than they judge your grammar. The feeling is more important than perfect words.
So if someone is learning English and they want to say sorry, writing a letter is a great way to do it.
I agree. It's a good way to practice and a good way to say what matters. It's simple, but powerful.
You know, sometimes it's hard to find the right time to give the letter. People wonder, should I give it now? Or wait?
That's true. I think the best time is when both people are calm. If someone is still very angry, it might be better to wait a little.
Yes. And you can also send it by message or email if you feel nervous about giving it by hand.
Right. That makes it easier sometimes. And the person can read it in private, which helps them think.
Also, if the mistake was very small, do you think a short message is okay? Like just saying, I'm sorry for what I said today. I didn't mean to upset you.
Yes, that's fine. Not every apology has to be a long letter. If the mistake is small, the message can be small too. It's still honest.
But if the mistake is big or someone is really hurt, then a longer letter can help more.
Exactly. A longer letter gives more space to say how you feel and to show that you truly care.
Sometimes people ask, what if the other person doesn't forgive me?
That's a hard question. We can't control other people, but we can try our best. Saying sorry is the right thing. Even if they don't forgive us, we know we did the right thing.
Yes. And maybe they need time. Some people forgive quickly and others take longer. We must be patient.
I think what matters most is that the apology is real. People can feel if it's honest.
I agree. An honest letter can touch someone's heart. Even if they are upset, they will feel your care.
That's why I like the idea of writing. It helps us slow down. It helps us listen to our own hearts.
And it teaches us to take responsibility. We stop blaming others. We look at what we did and we try to make it right.
Yes. That's how we grow. Apologies are not only about fixing a mistake, they are also about becoming a better person.
Do you think children should learn how to write apology letters too?
Yes, I do. It's a good habit to learn early. It teaches respect and kindness. Even a short note from a child saying, I'm sorry, can mean a lot.
And it helps them understand that words have power. Saying sorry can make people feel better. It builds trust.
I remember one time, a student wrote me a letter after they were rude in class. It was short, but it touched me.
That's sweet. It shows how a small act can fix something big. Just a few words, but they made a difference.
Yes. And it also made the student feel better too. I could see they were proud of taking that step.
Sometimes, even writing the letter before you give it can help. You understand more just by putting it into words.
That's a great point. Some people write an apology and decide not to send it, but they still feel peace afterward.
Because writing helps the heart speak. Whether or not the letter is sent, it's still a way to heal.
And when we do send it, we open a door. Maybe the other person will walk through. Maybe they won't. But we did our part.
That's what really matters. Doing our part, being honest, and showing that we care.
And learning to say sorry helps not just in personal life, but also in jobs and other places. It builds better relationships everywhere.
Yes, even in the workplace. If you make a mistake at work, a short apology message or note can show that you are respectful and responsible.
And people remember that. They don't just remember the mistake, they remember how you handled it.
That's why an apology letter is not just about fixing a problem. It's also about showing your character.
Another thing to think about is the tone of the letter. It should sound gentle and honest, not angry or cold.
That's very important. Sometimes people say, "I'm sorry," and then they add something that sounds like blame.
Yes, that little word but can change everything. It can make the apology feel weak or not real.
It's better to say, "I'm sorry for what I did," and stop there. You can explain later if needed, but don't make it part of the apology.
Right. Keep the focus on your own actions. Take responsibility without trying to make excuses.
Also, try to be calm when you write. If you are still angry or sad, wait a little. A clear mind helps you choose better words.
That's good advice. Writing in a quiet place can help too. You can think more clearly and write with feeling.
Some people find it helpful to write a first draft. Then they read it again and make small changes to make it better.
Yes, it's okay to take time. A good apology doesn't have to be fast. It should be thoughtful.
Sometimes people also ask, should I write the letter by hand or is typing okay?
I think both are fine. A handwritten letter feels more personal, but typing is also okay, especially if your handwriting is hard to read.
That's true. The most important thing is the feeling behind the words, not the paper or the pen.
And what do you think about using simple emojis if you send it by message?
If the message is short and friendly, 1 or 2 emojis can be okay. But not too many. It should still feel serious.
Yes, especially if someone is really hurt. Too many emojis might look like you're not taking it seriously.
You know, writing an apology letter is not just about fixing the past. It's also about building the future.
That's a beautiful thought. A good apology can make relationships stronger than before.
Because when someone sees that you care, they feel safe. They know you respect them.
And even if they don't say it, they remember your kindness. People remember when you try to make things right.
I think we all need to say, "I'm sorry," sometimes. Nobody is perfect. We all make mistakes.
Yes. And learning how to say sorry in English is a useful skill for everyday life.
You can use it at home, at school, at work, with friends, or even with strangers.
And when you say sorry in English, even in a simple way, it shows your heart. That's more important than big, fancy words.
Exactly. The heart matters more than grammar. People will feel your honesty.
I also think that when someone receives an apology, they learn something too. They learn about kindness and forgiveness.
Yes. And maybe one day they will write an apology letter to someone else because your words inspired them.
That's the power of good words. They don't just end with one person. They go on and help others too.
So, if you're learning English, don't be afraid to write an apology letter. It's a chance to grow your language and your heart.
And don't worry about making mistakes in English. Just write with truth. That is the most important thing.
I feel like we've talked about so many important things. Writing an apology letter may seem small, but it can really change things in a big way.
Yes, it can fix relationships, help us grow, and even teach us more about ourselves. It's a simple act, but it comes from the heart.
We talked about how to start a letter, how to keep it honest and clear, and how to write with real feeling. And we also shared why timing and tone matter.
We also said that even a short message can mean a lot. And if the mistake is big, a longer letter helps the other person understand that you truly care.
One thing I really liked was when we talked about taking responsibility, saying sorry without blaming others. That's so important.
It really is. And we also said that writing helps us slow down and think. It makes our apologies stronger, and it helps us speak from the heart.
We even mentioned that you can write by hand, send a text, or type an email. It doesn't matter how you write. What matters is what you feel and say.
Exactly. So, to all our listeners, remember this. Don't be afraid to say sorry. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength, care, and kindness.
And if you're learning English, writing apology letters is a great way to practice. You learn new words, build better sentences, and also learn how to connect with others.
We hope this podcast helped you learn more English and also feel more confident about writing your own apology letters.
Thank you so much for spending this time with us. We're really happy to share these ideas with you.
If you like this podcast, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment to tell us what you think, and share it with your friends or family who are learning English too.
Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye and take care.
Your support helps more people find this podcast, and we love hearing from you.
So, keep learning, keep growing, and remember, kind words can make the world better.